D2 Word Life here with Riptidz, and well, this is going to be somewhat of a somber review here. We're kind of
Welcome Mania's number one fan.
we're kind of an emotional wreck, but you know what? We are going to power through this. We are going to try to entertain you the best we can doing this review, because I'm pretty sure, as you know by now, the legendary Hulk Hogan had passed away. And
I know you guys were looking forward to our Hell in a Cell 2019. But since Hogan passed away today, we are doing a tribute to him and his family for this. We're doing Backlash 02.
Yeah. And we're going to be reviewing Backlash 2002 as a little tribute to Hogan. And after we do, the review of the best we can, we will be talking about our favorite Hogan moments at the end. And,
And my condolences go out to his family.
Yes. So, without further ado, let's get this review underway here. Backlash 2002 took place on April 21st, 2002. In Kansas City, Missouri, at the Kemper Arena with attendance of 12,489 fans. The commentators for this event were Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, and the ring announcer was Howard Finkel. And
it's always the Finkel.
Yep, and a honorable shout out mention goes to the Sunday Night Heat match, which was the Big Show defeating Steven Richards and Justin Credible in a handicap match.
Yes.
So yeah, we kick off the show. No, before that, they showed the video package. That was the opening video package. That was kind of a hard thing to see, hyping up the main event between Hogan and Triple H for the show. And we get to and then afterwards we get to see the opening pyro goes off. We get introduced to the show, and we kick it off with our first match, which was for the Cruiserweight Championship. It was the Cruiserweight Champion Billy Kidman taking on Tajiri for the championship, and this was a good back and forth match. What are some before we get to what are some spots you remember from this one?
At this point, Tori and Tajiri's relationship was on the rocks.
Yeah, this was when Tajiri was with Tori Wilson here, dressed up in that geisha outfit, or however you pronounce it.
Geisha.
I'm probably butchering the hell out of it right now, or I probably did.
It's a geisha outfit.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that made you, being you the anime nerd, be like, oh, this is Japanese culture.
It is Japanese culture.
So yeah, there was some great high flying action. Freaking, none of them were in control for the long haul. Tajiri was pretty much working on the head of Billy Kidman during this one, trying to soften up for that buzzsaw kick.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, and then freaking at one point in the match, Tajiri went for the catapult into the turnbuckle on Kidman, but Kidman hit a drop kick for a 2 count. That looked impressive. Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a little later on, I think near the end of the match, Tajiri applied the tarantula into the ropes and had the 5 count to work with, Tajiri's signature.
Yep.
Yeah, and then freaking out Tajiri went for the handspring elbow off the ropes, and then Kidman freaking reversed with a drop kick to the back. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think at one point Tajiri actually did nail the buzzsaw kick near the end. Kidman kicked out of it. Right?
That surprised the hell out of Tajiri.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, I think, yeah, and then I think Kidman later on went to the top rope to perform the shooting star press. Tajiri moved, and yeah, that's when Tajiri nailed the kick to the head for the 2 count, right?
Yep. And then Kidman went for the BK bomb.
Yep.
And he got freaking listed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta mention this before the end. Kidman did end up hitting a sit-out spine buster from the top rope onto Tajiri for the 2 count. But that's when, afterwards, Tajiri lifted Tajiri up for the BK bomb or power bomb, whatever you want to call it. And,
The BK bomb.
Yeah, and then Tajiri then sprayed the red mist into the Kidman's face and scored the 3 count to win the championship. Your thoughts on this one?
It was a good match.
That was a good way to start it off. So yep, it was an all right opener for this show.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say is it was all right. It was a good opener for this little opener for this show. From what I know, Tajiri and Tori Wilson's association or a little storyline relationship here wouldn't last much longer after this.
I think it was like a couple weeks or a month.
Yeah, before
after this they broke up.
Yeah, and then freaking Tori ended up hooking up with Maven for a short, brief period, as we know. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, then after the match, freaking your boy Michael Cole went to interview Tajiri about the win.
I couldn't understand a word that he fucking Tajiri said.
Yeah, Tajiri was like spoken Japanese, so no one had any idea what he said. Okay, Anime Weeb, what did Tajiri say?
He said, D2 can suck my nuts.
Maybe that's what you heard, but that's not what he said.
I don't speak Japanese. I would love to speak Japanese.
Yep. Yeah, then...
the only words I know in Japanese are Oni-chan, Oni-chan, Baka, which means idiot.
I think, after the whole Oscar and Sky segment, I think everyone knows what that means.
And a few other words.
But anyway, backstage we see Bradshaw getting ready for his match. Farouk went up, and then Farouk came up to him, and yeah, they were happy to see each other.
Well, we got to see the reunion of the APA after the brand separation.
Yeah, because this was after the first brand split was introduced. Bradshaw was on Raw, Farouk was on SmackDown.
This was after the... God damn it.
This was after the Invasion angle and after Mania, and they did the whole first ever brand split.
The draft.
The first draft, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I had to fucking going back in my mind to remember what it was. I was like, this was directly after the first draft, directly after the Invasion angle, after Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
And then Flair took over Raw. Vince took over SmackDown.
Yeah.
After he brought in the so-called Poison, the NWO.
Yep. Anyway, Anyway, getting back on track here. The next match was Bradshaw versus Scott Hall here. Scott Hall made his entrance with X-Pac NWO theme playing because they were members of the NWO. And to take note of this, X-Pac came out wearing Kane's mask because in storyline, the NWO were the reason why Kane got injured and X-Pac stole his mask. In reality, Kane was on the shelf due to a torn tricep at this point, or torn bicep at this point. And he would be out for like 4 to 5 months, and then when Kane would return, that's September of 2002, he'd come with his new like half mask that he was no.
Well, he also had a separated shoulder and torn or ruptured bicep or tricep.
Yeah.
So he had 2 injuries that wrote him off TV for 3 to 5 months.
Yeah, when Kane would come back, it wouldn't be with the full face mask. It'd be the first half mask, or mouthless mask, whatever you want to call it. You know, the one where the way Kane looked during the Katie Vick angle. That's pretty much what he would come back looking like afterwards. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then afterwards Bradshaw came out. And looked like X-Pac and Scott Hall were going to double team Bradshaw, but then the APA music hit up once again, and then Farouk came out to be at Bradshaw's side and watch his back. Right?
Yeah, well, he came out because he saw they were talking about what they did to their clubhouse.
Yep.
And then when Bradshaw came out with his APA theme, he was out there alone. And then when Scott Hall and X-Pac came out together, Ron Simmons decided to come out to help him, to have his back.
Yeah. And you know, Bradshaw was on the offensive early with punches, then a forearm, and then a DDT on Hall for a 2 count. Right? And then and then freaking X-Pac, I think, tried to get involved, but Farouk knocked him down twice. Right? Or punched him twice, knocked X-Pac down. Right?
Yep.
And at one point, Bradshaw got a vertical suplex on Hall for a 2 count. Yeah, and then Hall got back in the driver's seat with a dreaded eye poke to Bradshaw, along with some punches to the head and a choke across the metal rope, which gave X-Pac the opening to cheap shot Bradshaw behind the ref's back.
Yep. That's when Farouk decided, oh, you want to do that? Now I'll pick your ass up and break your spine into the fucking steel corner of the ring.
Yeah, and then later on in the matchup, freaking Hall performed a Irish rip into the corner on Bradshaw, but Bradshaw avoided it. Bradshaw then nailed a clothesline from hell for a 2 count. Because, X-Pac put freaking Scott Hall's foot on the bottom rope and the ref saw it. Right?
Yep.
So it was just a 2 count. And the bottom line, end of the matchup came, Farouk chased X-Pac out of there, freaking Bradshaw punched X-Pac too, and then Farouk then dove on X-Pac, drove X-Pac into the ring post, knocking him out.
Yep.
And then the whole time the referee was like, "Oh, I spotted that." He was gonna confront Farouk, and then then Scott Hall ended up being a dick to Bradshaw's JBLs, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
By low blowing him. Followed by the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up for the pinfall win. Your thoughts on this one?
It was good. Could it have been better? Yes. Was it still a banger of a match? Yes. Was it hard hitting? For fucking sure.
Yeah. I mean, the ending to me felt flat, but at least Bradshaw didn't get pinned clean. He got pinned dirty. The heel Scott Hall had to use heel tactics to win.
Yeah.
So I guess there's some Bradshaw looking strong there in defeat. Right? Was it the best Bradshaw match? No. Was it the best Scott Hall match? Not by a mile. I've seen better, but it is what it is. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, then backstage, Vince McMahon freaking walked into Ric Flair's office with Arn Anderson standing by Flair's side. Vince saying, "Oh, the NWO is impressive." But then this pretty much Vince was freaking confronting Ric Flair about, naming himself the guest referee for the Taker Austin match. And Vince said maybe Ric's a fool, or if it's he doesn't know, maybe Ric's a fool or a stroke of brilliance. Ric told Vince, that I can't relate to you. Right?
Yep.
Basically, that was the whole gist of it, because Vince was trying to be like, oh, you're just like me, taking authority, whatever. Right?
Yep.
So next up, we have the Women's Championship match. It was Women's Champion Jazz defending against Trish Stratus here. After Trish Stratus made her entrance, freaking Molly Holly then came out and said that, pretty much said that Trish Stratus would not be a great champion because she's a cheater, right? Making reference to how Trish Stratus beat freaking Molly Holly by holding the tights when Molly was doing the same shit. Pretty much being a hypocrite.
That's the pot calling the kettle black.
Pretty much saying that a champion is not a cheater and it's going to be someone who's freaking wholesome and clean. Me. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and then afterwards, freaking Molly Holly and freaking Trish Stratus started brawling, which resulted in Molly throwing Trish into the steel steps as Jazz made her entrance to the ring. Right?
Yep.
And I'm just like, wow, okay. I think I already know who's going to win here, obviously. Jazz was pretty much dominant from the get-go because of the whole, interference or pre-match assault that Trish suffered, right?
Yep.
Of course, Trish Stratus managed to freaking fight back, sending Jazz throw first into the ropes. But then Jazz came back and hit a rolling senton, sent Trish in the ropes. Then Jazz did the leapfrog over Trish, and then nailed Trish with a clothesline just early on. Yeah, then Trish then came back with forearms and a kick to the head for a 2 count of Jazz, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there was like a couple of freaking near falls here, including one that Trish got on Jazz after nailing a head scissors off the top rope into clotheslines and a neck breaker. I mean, Trish was trying to fight back from underneath here, but it just wasn't enough. And then Trish even hit a sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
But then Jazz got in control after she countered a Stratusfaction into the belly-to-back slam, followed by a freaking leg whip takedown. Then Jazz then applied the Boston Crab. And then, while in the submission hold, Trish almost got to the ropes, but then Jazz then applied the STF, which Trish Stratus tapped out, giving Jazz the win, and Jazz retains the title. Your thoughts on this one? With Jazz retaining the women's championship.
Could it have been better? Yes. Was it their best match? No.
If this
Did they have better matches? Yes.
Now, if this match happened, say, in the modern era, it'd be a longer match and possibly a classic. instead of the
Did
short
those
amount of
two
time.
become future Hall of Famers? Yes.
Uh-huh. I mean, I thought it was all right for what it was. It felt kind of average to me, but, it was all right for what it was. So there's that. Right. Of course, afterwards, freaking Mark Lloyd tried to interview Jazz, but Jazz said nothing and left. Right?
Yeah, well, Jazz never fucking stayed for interviews, really.
Oh, boy. And then we go on to what I believe is the creepiest part, is when they show the recap video from what happened on Raw showed Paul Heyman taunting Lita in the back, in the locker room area. Pretty much saying, oh yeah, and yeah, seeing Paul Heyman play around with one of freaking Lita's freaking undergarments kind of was disturbing. Am I right?
Yeah, Paul Heyman was one
Lita.
of the original creepers.
And pretty much Heyman said that, oh, Brock Lesnar will play nice or play rough. Depends on if you're gonna play nice with me. And that's when Lita bitch slapped him. And then later on the same episode of Raw, Matt Hardy and Brock Lesnar freaking were fighting each other on the entranceway there, on the entrance stage there, after Paul Heyman was taunting Matt Hardy during a match with Lita's bag with a bunch of her freaking thongs and panties in it. I cannot believe I am saying this right now. Right?
Like I said, he was one of the original creepers.
So Matt Hardy went up there to go tag him, only for a recently debuted Brock Lesnar to meet him up there on the stage, which resulted in, after a little bit of a brawl, which resulted in Brock giving Matt an F5 on the stage.
Multiple F5s.
Multiple F5. And all of them looked nasty. Devastating, which resulted in Jeff chasing Brock away, setting up this match.
You're literally getting thrown up in the air, fucking 3 feet in the fucking air, and then crashing down onto a fucking steel girder.
Yes.
Or a steel grate.
And of course, Brock Lesnar was shown afterwards backstage warming up for the match. And then Heyman telling Brock that tonight was his first official match, which it was on the main roster, and his first pay-per-view appearance of many.
And you wanted him to cause Jeff Hardy more pain than he did for Matt.
Yep, and Paul even said he wants Brock to show the world that the next big thing is Brock Lesnar. And yes, this would be Brock Lesnar's first of many pay-per-view appearances and matches throughout his career. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, Jeff made his entrance with Lita, and then Brock Lesnar came out, made his entrance accompanied by Paul Heyman, and Brock was using his original theme, not his second theme, which is his most well-known theme song, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say, a young Brock Lesnar facing Jeff Hardy here. Yeah, if you had to say a percentage scale of Jeff Hardy surviving this match, what would it be?
Negative 0.5.
Yeah, it's basically what it was. Brock Lesnar was just say that Brock Lesnar was dominating most of this matchup is an understatement, because he actually was.
He wasn't just dominating, he was eviscerating. He was destroying. He was mollywhopping.
Yes. And of course,
this motherfucker would not stop.
Nope.
He hit F5, German suplex, F5, German suplex,
Yep.
exploder suplex, German suplex, throwaway fucking fall away slam. Fucking just kept kneeing Jeff Hardy in the back and gut.
And of course, Jeff tried to fight back with a jawbreaker law. He tried to fight back. I mean, Jeff Hardy did dive off the top rope with a maneuver, and that's with his top rope maneuver where he twists in the air, knocks him down, whatever it's called. And that's
Whisper in the wind.
Whispering Wind. That's what. Yeah, and they're like, oh shit, and even the commentators are making a big deal. Oh, this is the first time Brock got knocked off his feet. All right, in a match, right? But you know what?
This was freaking Brock Lesnar was fucking 99% fucking offense, and Jeff Hardy was 1%.
And of course, like you said, Lesnar kept hitting all these belly to bellies and suplexes across the ring, just pretty much using freaking Jeff Hardy as his own personal yeet man. You know what I'm saying?
He sent him to pre-Suplex City.
The pre-Suplex City when it was just breaking ground. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? And but then Jeff did fight back. He actually managed to nail a jawbreaker on Lesnar along with a double leg drop. Along with the freaking
Yes, I know Hulk Hogan passed away, Joseph.
You also know the father of Alicia Cross passed away as well today.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Jeff now
Also,
leg drop to the ribs. Maybe the low blow. Jeff was addicted to Brock Lesnar's. Yeah, and then Jeff actually did manage to hit a Swanton bomb for a 2 count. Only for Brock to get up, and then Jeff went to go grab a steel chair, but Lesnar was ready for him, picked Jeff up on his shoulders, nailed an F5. So Jeff was down. Then Heyman yelled, "Don't pin him, hurt him."
Dude, Brock Lesnar ate a steel chair shot.
Yes.
He ate it.
Yeah, but after that F5, Brock Lesnar picked up Jeff Hardy and nailed a power bomb not once but twice. He could have ended the match right there if he wanted to, but nope. He decided to pick Jeff up again and nail him with a friggin' power bomb that looked harder than the first two. And that's when the referee was like, "That's it, we're done. This match is over. Brock wins by TKO."
Yes.
So your thoughts on this one?
Saying it was brutal was beyond a statement.
And I'm like, well, if Brock Lesnar was making a statement here on his first pay-per-view and his first official match on the main roster, statement made. Am I right?
Yep.
Ugh. Ugh. So yeah. So moving on, next we get treated to a video package highlighting the rivalry between Edge and Kurt Angle at this point, and the rivalry was just getting started. Edge actually beat Angle in a one-on-one match, but on SmackDown, but Angle cost Edge a match against Booker T, which led to the rivalry really starting from there. Yeah, and obviously it was during this first half of the rivalry, because we already covered the second half of the rivalry. First half of the rivalry, this showed Edge talking to Angle backstage saying, "Hey, we used to be good friends. I got some pictures." And then obviously those pictures have the words "you suck" written on them. And
Yes.
and there was also one that said, "I have no testicles," with the arrow pointing downward. Right.
He's literally like, "Oh, Kurt, this is I was going through my attic and pictures of us. I suck."
Oh,
Fucking,
hey, at least you admit it.
do suck.
At least you admit it.
I know you suck.
But
He's
yeah.
like, "It's true. It's true. I have no testicles."
Thank you. We already knew that.
Well, no, you have none.
You're the one saying it.
Have wonder.
You're the one saying it.
Go fuck yourself.
But yeah, I know you're talking about the recap video. I'm just being an ass at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, But yeah, that's what's at this matchup. And then both made their entrances here, and well, I mean, this was a great back and forth type matchup here. Neither man had the advantage for very long, going back and forth. At one point, Edge performed the execution on Angle for a near fall. Right?
Yes.
And of course, shortly after that, Angle freaking attempted to perform the Angle Slam on Edge, but Edge countered and performed a Jubilant suplex onto Angle, followed by a diving crossbody on Angle on the outside of the ring. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, then freaking Edge then attempted a second execution, but Angle countered the move into another Angle Slam for a 2 count. Right.
See.
Yeah, and Angle applied the Angle lock on the Edge, but Edge countered into a roll-up for a near fall here, but then Angle got frustrated and this was near the end of the match I'm talking about. Angle got frustrated, went to go grab a chair, and he went to freaking nail Edge with a chair, but Edge moved out of the way, and Angle ended up hitting himself with a chair when it ricocheted off the top rope. Right?
Yep.
Which was funny, I got to admit. Then Edge performed the Edge-O-Matic onto Angle for another 2 count. And while this was going on, Edge decided, you know what, I'm going to finish Angle off. So Edge attempted to hit a spear on Angle, but Angle countered it with a boot to the face, followed by another Angle Slam for the 3 count. So, yeah, your thoughts on this one with Angle defeating Edge here in this great match? I mean, I didn't go through all of it. You're just going to have to see it for yourself.
It was okay.
Ugh.
Was it the starting of the rivalry? Yes. Did they have a fucking banger of a hair versus hair match after this? Yes.
Yeah.
Did these two freaking become future Hall of Famers and have even matches? Yes.
And of course, yeah. But like I said, this was just a start of rivalry. The rivalry would continue into Judgment Day the following month, which we already reviewed in that hair versus hair match. Which, well, we all know who lost that one because Kurt Angle's still bald to this day.
Yes, it ripped out all the follicles of his hair so it couldn't grow back.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this too at the start of this review. I'll just mention it now since we're just going to be talking about a promo segment. Backlash 2002 was the final WWE pay-per-view under the WWF banner before they officially changed the WWE. Yes, I know they had an insurrection. I know they had a UK exclusive pay-per-view Insurrection under the WWE banner too, but when it comes to major like pay-per-views going around the world, this was the last one under the WWF banner.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a little history trivia for you right there. Right. Yeah, so Chris Jericho came out to cut a promo in the middle of the show. And pretty much Jericho pointed out that, yeah, about a month ago he was the undisputed champion in the main event of WrestleMania, but now he doesn't even have a match at Backlash. He was pretty much ranting and raving, talking about how Billy Kidman, Trish Stratus, and even Maven have a match here at Backlash, but the WWE undisputed champion, the former undisputed champion, is not even good enough to have a match. Right?
Yes.
And he even said that you jackasses don't care, being the heel ripping into the crowd. And Jericho also freaking complained about Hulk Hogan getting a title shot instead of Jericho here. And then Jericho ripped into the Hulkamaniacs, claiming that the Hulkster can win the W Championship. Cannot win the W Championship because Hogan is not worthy of being a champion. Classic heel promo, right?
Yeah, which was bullshit.
Then Jericho said that he was worthy of being champion and worthy of being in a match. And then he goes, well, and since I'm not welcome in Kansas City, that means that I'm just gonna leave. And everyone cheered when he said that. Then Jericho's music went and he just left after being a whiny little prick. Can I say that here on these reviews?
He left.
Yeah, we'll be seeing him a little later on, right?
Yes.
So backstage, we see The Undertaker walk into Ric Flair's office. The Undertaker didn't even say anything. He just pointed a finger at Ric's face. Ric Flair's face warning Flair about Taker's match later, that Flair's going to be officiating. Right?
Yep.
So yeah, we go on to our next matchup here. A battle of the frog splashes. As we see Rob Van Dam defend the Intercontinental Championship against Eddie Guerrero. And this match came about when Eddie Guerrero made his return to the WWE after like a couple months layoff, and during that time period he actually got clean of his addictions at this point, right?
Yes.
And his first feud back was against Van Dam here, including costing Van Dam a number one contenders type match, qualifier type match here. So yeah, this one was all right too, but this match was good back and forth action like you would. Neither man had the advantage of this one. Near the match, Van Dam grabbed wrist lock, but Eddie backed him into the ropes and started working over Van Dam with kicks. And then Van Dam did nail a jumping slide kick along with a standing moonsault on Guerrero for a 2 count. Right? Yeah, then later on, Eddie Guerrero applied the surfboard submission hold, bending RVD back, over his back. You know, that looked painful, but Van Dam was able to get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little bit later on, Eddie nailed a brain buster along with a belly to back suplex for a 2 count. And then Eddie went to the top, but RVD stopped it with a kick, and Eddie came back with a sunset flip powerbomb for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
That was a good highlight there. Van Dam then nailed a spinning heel kick to the face that knocked Eddie out of the ring, so Eddie once again brought the Intercontinental title back into the ring. A lot of weapons being used in this match, by the way, or in this show, by the way. Right?
Yes.
And then Van Dam got it for him and Van Dam hit the referee by accident. Then Eddie Guerrero then nailed a neck breaker onto the championship, which the referee didn't see, obviously. And then Eddie went back up and nailed the more superior frog splash on Van Dam to win the match and the Intercontinental title.
That's your opinion that his was better, but okay.
Anyway, your thoughts on this one?
They both felt a little froggy.
I thought it was a good match. These two would also have another match at the 2002 Judgment Day a month later, followed by a ladder match on Raw after Judgment Day. Or a couple weeks after Judgment Day. Yeah, it's funny. Back then, Eddie Guerrero won the Intercontinental Championship, and then we fast forward to the modern day, and his son, the Trash Can, is the current champion at time of recording.
Yes.
That could all change, though. Yeah. Depending on the outcome of SummerSlam. Right?
Yep, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, a week from this Saturday and Sunday at time of recording. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the announcers talked about how well The Rock's freaking movie, The Scorpion King, was doing. I'm
So
pretty
he was
sure.
going back to see it again.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you've seen that movie like a bunch of times in your lifetime.
I own the damn movie.
Yeah, but then anyway, moving on. Anyway, we see the video package hyping up the Steve Austin Undertaker match with Ric Flair as a guest referee, being named number one contenders matchup with Taker beating RVD in a match to qualify for this, and Austin being Scott Hall in a match to qualify for this as well, despite interference from the Undertaker in that matchup. And yeah, also after the match with Hall, Austin nailed freaking Flair with a stunner too, continuing their rivalry at the time. So yeah, Ric Flair made his entrance wearing a referee shirt, wearing red boots. Yeah, that really clashed, didn't it? Red boots with black slacks.
Black and white and red.
Yeah, then the Undertaker came out to his rolling theme song from
Where did you get his style fucking from, Rico?
Probably. Yeah. So yeah, the Undertaker came out with his rolling theme song from Limp Bizkit, which is kind of interesting because, we were reviewing SummerSlam 2001 last week, and when the Undertaker came out to the rolling theme song, they dubbed his freaking Big Evil theme over it, but they didn't dub it over this one. Interesting. Am I right?
Yes.
And then, of course, the glass broke. Austin came out. He got the big baby face pop. And yeah, The Undertaker was working as a heel here despite being cheered too by over half the crowd. Right?
Yeah.
And then here we go. Yeah, and then here we go. Please note, as I note for this one, it's kind of ironic. This is the second time that The Undertaker and Austin would fight each other in the Kemper Arena for a pay-per-view. We really don't talk about the first one for obvious reasons. The first time they fought in that arena, for obvious reasons, right?
And
It was kind of back and forth. It was back and forth from the start, and there was a lot of what chants and the stare down between both of them. Started off, but yeah, like trying to do lockups and like heads and like yeah, they kept trying to do lockups and freaking headlocks and everything to start it off with, including at one point, Austin was kind of teasing the Undertaker to do another like test of strength, right?
yep.
Only for Taker to start doing it, only for Austin to freaking just flip him off, giving us that gif. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's where this comes from. Yeah, but then later on in the match, the NWO came out. The NWO Scott Hall and X-Pac came out. X-Pac still wearing Kane's mask. This was getting ridiculous here, right? With that,
He was always wearing fucking Kane's mask at that point.
Austin did apply the sleeper hold at one point, but Taker fought back with a belly to back suplex for a 2 count. Then Austin then the Undertaker nailed a clothesline for a 2 count here. And there was a lot of 2 counts here. The fans were chanting what every time Austin was on offense. Yeah, and then freaking a little bit later on, Austin nailed a spine buster for a 2 count. This is near the end. And then Austin went for a stunner, but Taker reversed it by shoving Austin into Flair, who took a bump to the mat. I'm surprised he wasn't down for like 20 minutes. That ref shirt is like cursed. Right?
Yeah.
So Taker got a steel chair and he nailed Austin in the head with it. Yeah, and then he was going to nail Austin in the head, And but then Austin got his hands up. Also, Taker went to cover Flair, or Taker went for the cover, but Flair did a slow count, just 2. Right? Then Austin came back with another clothesline for a 2 count. At this point, both of them were spent, you could tell. Right? Then Taker took the chairs, tried to swing the chair, but Austin avoided it, and then Austin stomped on Taker in the corner where the fans were chanting, "What?" The stomping a mud hole in Taker's ass here. Then Austin grabbed the chair, but then Taker kicked the chair into Austin's face. Flair seen it, didn't really do anything about it. And then when Austin was down, after the kick to the face with a steel chair, Taker immediately went for the cover. Austin got his foot on the rope, but Flair counted to 3 anyway, claiming that he didn't see Austin's foot on the rope, giving Taker the win at the end. So your thoughts on this one?
It was a good match. Did they have a rematch that was a banger of a match? Yes. Did Stone Cold beat the shit out of Ric Flair? Yes. Did Stone Cold beat the shit out of the NWO? Yes.
So I know we didn't go into great detail. It would be a match I'd recommend you to go back. I mean, it's not the best finish in the world, but man, it's something, right?
Yep.
And of course, after the match, when Austin realized he just got screwed, Taker was sitting there, was talking shit to Austin because Taker's now the number 1 contender for the undisputed WWE Championship or the WWE Championship, whatever you just want to call it here. So Austin retaliated by giving Undertaker another stunner, and Undertaker went sailing out of the ring, and that's how it ended. Right?
Yep. And then they go to the back when Ric Flair is being interviewed by Jonathan Coachman, and he's like, "Oh, what do you think of the travesty?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Come over here to the monitor." And he's like, "Oh, what do you have to say?" He's like,
"Oh shit."
Here.
And I'm just like, wow. Because Flair done knew he fucked up. Right?
Yes.
And of course, this next one I'm just going to try to keep as brief as I can. It was a tag team championship match with the champions Billy and Chuck, with your boy Rico defending against Al Snow and Maven.
Go fuck yourself with my boy Rico. Then fuck you. You like Rico.
No, you just said he's your boy.
No, I didn't.
And of course, Maven, as we know, would be a big YouTube star. So, and of course, we all know Rico's your boy. You're just jealous because you can't grow sideburns like Rico.
Why would I want mutton chops?
Because you think they will make you look fancy. I don't know.
We all know that you want them.
Nah, I'm good. Well, at the start of the match, Billy and Chuck tried the cheap shot attack, but Snow and Maven were ready for him, and then they knocked the champions out of the ring. Your boy was freaking sweating his mutton chops off. Right?
Go fuck yourself.
And of course, later on, Maven nailed an enziguri kick to Chuck after some double team moves, maneuvering on him. Snow got the tag in with clotheslines and a back body drop to Chuck, and punches to Billy here. Rico freaking caused a distraction, which allowed Chuck to hit Snow with a clothesline, and then Billy came back and nailed a neck breaker for a 2 count. Oh yeah, and during the whole time, the fans were chanting some derogatory things at Rico. On the outside, I'm like, what the hell? I'm not going to repeat it here. Something that would get me banned off of YouTube if I repeated that here. Then Chuck nailed a freaking belly suplex for a 2 count, I believe, on Maven. Could be Snow. I don't really. Whatever. Near the end of the match, Billy hit a famouser on Maven, but Snow made the save when it gave the pinfall. And then freaking back in the ring, Jack nailed a super kick, I believe, on the freaking snow. Rico came in, and Rico accidentally hit a freaking kick on the Chuck when Maven moved out of the way. I'm like, yeah, your boy fucked up, right? Yeah, but then near the end, but at the end of here, I believe freaking Maven went up to the top rope and got a cross body block on a Billy Gunn or Billy for a 2 count. Rico went back in the ring, Snow chased him out, and then Chuck came in, nailed a super kick on Maven, leading to Billy covering Maven to retain the tag team championships. Your thoughts on this one? I mean,
I forgot about the Chuck and Billy fucking tag team.
Of course, then again, we don't review a whole lot of Chuck and Billy tag team matches. I believe this is like the second one we did. The first one was back at the Judgment Day 02 pay-per-view review a long time ago. Right? And of course, we knew you
were tag team for a while.
Of course, we all know you were really happy to see your boy Rico out there as a manager.
No, he's your boy Rico.
The only thing you wanted to see was fucking goddamn Al Snowplow freaking Rico's mutton chops off his face. That's what you wanted.
Yes.
But I thought it was alright for what it was, but it felt more like something you could see on Raw at the time. Or SmackDown, whatever.
Yeah, it was student and teacher versus Billy and Chuck. And it came out to the fucking "You look good to me tonight." I'm like, cringe.
Oh, what are you talking about? That's your number one favorite wrestling theme song of all time.
No. That's yours, because you cringe lord.
No, anyway. Then we go on to the main event. They showed the video package airing the Undisputed title match with Vince McMahon announcing that Triple H would defend the championship against Hulk Hogan. Hogan was dressed in the red and yellow attire again, considering it was at this point he left the NWO to go back to the red and yellow look, the Hulkamania look. And yeah, this would be Hogan's first WWE Championship match since 1993, when he lost the title to Yokozuna at the 93 King of the Ring. Yeah, and then freaking Hogan added the Friends bought Hulkamania back. This is a tough This is tough to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Triple H told Hogan that he's not immortal, that he's not an icon, he's just an obstacle that Triple H would run down. That's the high package for this. Hogan made his entrance, and Hogan's music that was playing was Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, but since we were watching it on Peacock, they had a generic they had the generic like instrumental version of it, somewhat. It sounded similar to it, but not quite it. You know what I mean?
It was the same thing, but fucking dubbed over.
And of course, Triple H made his entrance with the WWE Championship around his waist to a huge ovation. And I really hate to say this, but it was around this time that the undisputed WWE Championship would be morphed into one championship, which would later on be known as the WWE Championship. They would have on the SmackDown brand. At this point, the original title that Brock Lesnar held, Undertaker held, Angle had, Eddie Guerrero had, JBL had. You know what I'm saying? That design. Yeah. And seeing Triple H with it looks weird because during this time period, I associated Triple H with the World Heavyweight title, which would actually make a comeback a few months later as the Raw exclusive world title. At this point, a little later on after this, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, seeing Triple H, I know he was the first person to hold that particular WWE title design. It just looks weird. I'm sorry, right? I want to try to make this freaking brief as I can. Match started. After the introductions were done, the bell rang. Triple H and Hogan stared at each other. Started off this match, and it was like a good back and forth. No one had the advantage, and then Triple H started working on Hogan's injured knee, which Hogan had a history of knee surgeries, and he was wearing a knee brace here, right? Including
No.
and Triple H even applied a figure four leg lock, and yeah, the fans were kind of booing this, even though Triple H wasn't a bad guy. Both were faces here, right? At this point.
No.
And after some good back and forth, Hogan was able to get out of it. Hogan then performed the big boot and the running leg drop onto Triple H. Made the pin, attempted the pin, but Jericho came out, pulled the referee out of the ring, so Jericho then hit Hogan with a steel chair, knocking him down, but then Triple H freaking came back, performed a face breaker knee smash onto Jericho, followed by a clothesline over the top rope, knocking Jericho out of the match. Right?
They did the Harley Race knee.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and then Hogan.
And then Taker comes out.
Yeah, then Hogan. Well, before that, Hogan just started hulking up. And Hogan nailed Triple H with a big boot, and he went for another leg drop, only for Triple H to get out of the way this time. And Triple H then answered that by nailing a pedigree on Hogan. And then when Triple H then attempted the pin and the referee counted 1, 2, the referee then got attacked by The Undertaker, who came out, like you said. And then The Undertaker then nailed Triple H in the head with a steel chair, busting him wide open. But then how did Hogan respond for getting help from The Undertaker? No, he attacked The Undertaker too and knocked him out with a clothesline. And then The Undertaker then freaking ended up nailing a leg drop on a Triple H for a second time and got the 3 count. To win his 6th and final WWE Championship.
Yes.
And of course, after the match, Triple H freaking stopped Hogan's celebration prematurely. All bloodied, face covered in blood. And he extended his hand out.
Everyone thought that he was going to attack him, but instead he showed him respect.
And extended his hand out as a show of respect, which Hogan shook Triple H's hand afterwards. And the show went off air with Hogan celebrating as the WWE champion once again.
Yes, and this is how he should be respected. I don't care if there's haters out there or not. You show respect to that man. He shaped a whole fucking generation.
You may not like him personally, you may not like Terry Bollea the man, but show respect for his wrestling career.
No, just show him respect in general.
Yep. I know there's a lot of haters out there, but this man shaped professional wrestling into what it is today. But anyway, we'll get more into detail on that after this, because now it's time to talk about our favorite part of the review, and that's our rating system. Here, so Tajiri defeating Billy Kidman to win the Cruiserweight Championship, I gave that one 3.5 out of 5.
I give it a 4.
Scott Hall defeating Bradshaw, I gave that one 3 out of 5. It felt average.
I gave it a 3.
Jazz defeating Trish Stratus to retain the Women's Championship. Honestly, to me, that was the weakest match of the night. It's none of the two competitors' fault. So I gave that one 2.5 out of 5. That's the best I could possibly give it.
That's you being nice. I gave it a 1.
Jesus Christ, I thought you would at least give it a 3. But okay.
No, because it wasn't even really a match. It was fucking... Trish comes out, then Molly Holly comes out, blindsides Trish. Yep. Trish freaking fights back, and then Jazz comes out. Jazz blindsides Trish.
And then pretty much
tries to go for the freaking Bulldog and the Stratisfaction and
eventually
gets destroyed.
Yeah, and eventually taps out. Yeah. Anyway, next, Brock Lesnar dominating Jeff Hardy and winning that match by TKO. I gave that one 3 out of 5.
5?
Yeah, we gave 5 out of 5 for the violence and the destruction.
Maybe.
Kurt Angle defeating Edge. I gave that one 4.5 out of 5.
About the same, yeah. 4.5.
Eddie Guerrero defeating Rob Van Dam to win the Intercontinental Championship. Also 4.5 out of 5.
5.
Undertaker defeating Steve Austin to become #1 contender for the WWE Championship with Ric Flair as the referee. I gave that one 3.75 out of 5.
5.
Billy and Chuck defeating Al Snow and Maven to retain the tag team championships. I only gave that one 3 out of 5.
2.5.
And Hulk Hogan defeating Triple H to win the WWE Championship. 5 out of 5. If you ask me, I really should. If you ask me, I really shouldn't rate it. I should just be like you and say immoral. It's infinity immoral. That's the scale. It freaking maximized itself out. But if I had to give a number, it would be 5 out of 5.
100 out of 100.
Mm-hmm. That being said, my personal final grade for Backlash 2002 is a B.
Mine's an A, even though it did have two one crappy match.
Mostly
and one
average.
semi-crappy.
And mostly like average.
Yes.
Matches I would recommend for this one.
Main event and semi-main.
Yeah, the matches I would personally recommend if you want to watch like one or two of them would probably be like, the Taker Austin match, maybe the Edge and Angle match, the Guerrero Van Dam match, or obviously the main event with Triple H and Hogan, especially now, right?
Yes.
Whether you like him as a human being or not, take the time and watch this one because we'll never see a performer like Hogan ever again.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I know I'm kind of outstretching this already, but this is our Hulk Hogan tribute, so what are some of your favorite Hulk Hogan matches or memories growing up as a wrestling fan?
Well, one was when I was a kid, rewatching Hulk Hogan Body Slam, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant.
The Body Slam with Andre the Giant, that's the most famous one from Mania 3.
King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, that cage match with Bundy that he had.
His unexpected heel turn.
Oh, the biggest heel turn in pro wrestling history with the NWO forming. That we reviewed for the channel too. That was a good one.
Well, his two matches versus Mr. McMahon. One where he would never appear on TV again, and then when he was Mr. America.
Oh yeah, the first encounter that he had with McMahon during that Street Fighter WrestleMania 19. That that was better than it had any right to be at that time. Because
Yeah.
those two just beat the holy shit out of each other. Right?
Well, Vince McMahon was trying to ruin Hulkamania.
Yeah. And you know,
Then there was the Hogan Shawn Michaels team up.
yes, which eventually led to Michaels turning heel and those two having their match at SummerSlam in 2005.
Then there was
Hogan and The Rock from Mania
Hogan
18,
Rock.
from Mania 18 and No Way Out 2003.
Two.
From No Way Out 03, which that doesn't get talked about as much as the first encounter they had.
Yeah. Then Hogan versus Taker.
From Survivor Series 91 this Tuesday in Texas, a week later, and of course Judgment Day 02, as we know, right?
Yes.
You know, and some of my highlights for Hogan, obviously the Andre the Giant Body Slam WrestleMania 3, that's iconic, right? Always will be replayed.
Yes.
Hogan's first WrestleMania main event, when Hogan and T defeated Piper and Orndorff to establish what a WrestleMania main event should be. Because if that event flopped, we wouldn't have a WrestleMania today, right?
The whole fucking concept of Mania would have been flush.
Yes. There was his underrated gym with Randy Savage at WrestleMania 5. That was actually a good banger of a match back then, right?
The formation of the Mega Power.
In general. Oh yeah, and his match with the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Right.
Yes.
That was a great match in its own right too. And obviously his feud with Ric Flair in WCW when he first debuted there is obviously his heel turn, the biggest heel turn in pro wrestling history, forming the NWO. Another good.
Which there's only two left, but technically one of the originals.
Yeah, well, yeah, only one of the original threes left. And then another good highlight that I can remember is Hogan returning to the WWE as a NWO member and having that feud with The Rock, which eventually led to his WWE title win that we just talked about against Triple H, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, his Hall of Fame induction in 2005, followed by his rivalry with Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam that year.
Yes.
When Shawn Michaels was comically overselling everything Hogan was doing and still making the match entertaining. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, you know, his TNA run, especially when we just reviewed Bound for Glory 2010 when he turned heel once again, this time being a leader of the Authority faction. Over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Immortal or whatever they were calling themselves, right?
Immortal, yes.
Oh yeah, and let's not mention another good highlight was Hogan's final WWE match was against Randy Orton at SummerSlam of 2006.
Well, also when he gave the Monster his theme song.
Yeah, the Monster Abyss's theme song. Yeah, Hogan's theme song, yeah. And you know, controversial figure or not, today's not the time. Today's not the day to spread hate, okay? Just remember this man for his career if you can. I mean, without him, there would be no professional wrestling as we know it today. There wouldn't be any WWE. There wouldn't be any AEW or TNA or anything like that. I mean, because of him revolutionizing wrestling, helping revolutionize wrestling back in the 80s into a big worldwide phenomenon from the territory system, that's why we have what we have today, as we know.
Yeah.
So, on that note, what are we going to be reviewing next week? I'm just going to give it to you, considering Backlash was kind of my idea because of what happened as a last-minute replacement. So what are we going to be watching next week? Literally the week before SummerSlam. That you can think of.
It's going to be another classic. It's going to be a WCW. Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg.
You want us to review? So we're gonna be reviewing Nitro from July 6th, 1998.
Well, it was not just Nitro. He faced him at.
I mean, we can do the Nitro broadcast. I mean, we haven't done a weekly show review. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what pay-per-view he did it at.
I don't remember the pay-per-view. I just remember the Nitro show, which we could do. I mean, it's fine, right?
Just give me a sec. Well, we could do. No, here's a classic one. We can do WCW either Bash at the Beach 94, 95.
Well, 94 was when Hogan made his WCW debut against Flair in the main event for the title.
Yes, or we could do 97, 98.
I think 94 was a good one. I don't remember too much of what happened with 97 or 98's Bash of the Beach event.
It was a basketball star Dennis Rodman teams Hollywood Hulk Hogan to face Lex Luthor and the Giant, so big show.
Yep.
Dennis Rodman and Hulk face Carl Maloney and Diamond Dallas Page.
98.
I know Goldberg was champion.
I know eventually we'll do those, but if I had to pick one of the three, I would pick freaking the 94 Bash of the Beach event, you know, before WCW went all crappy, right? Because at least that one, if I remember correctly, was a decent show.
Well, there was also 95, which was Hogan versus Vader in a steel cage.
Yeah, I know. I know eventually we'll do those events. We can just do Bash of the Beach 94. I think that's a...
I was trying to think of a classic Hogan because I'm trying to do a tribute to him for a while.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of WCW, another Hogan highlight that we forgot to mention from his WCW days was obviously his very good rivalry with Sting from 96 to 97.
Yes.
That culminated in that Starcade match between the two.
Yes.
Controversial finish aside, that match was actually pretty good for what it was. Not gonna lie.
Or there was Fall Brawl.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I know we'll do most of if not all of those events. Over time.
I was thinking about Fall Brawl, which was 96. Hollywood Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Sting take on Team WCW.
Yeah. I know eventually we'll do them all, but out of the ones that you mentioned, I feel like doing Bash of the Beach 94 are the ones that you
The
picked.
one that you want, Dustin.
What?
Instead, we are doing WCW Fall Brawl 1999 Sting versus Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight title.
I don't even remember how that one ended. Or how that one went. It's been a while since I last seen Fall Brawl of 99.
I've seen it a few times, but that's what we're gonna do because you were saying that his epic matches, or Fall Brawl of '98, which we could do. But I was thinking about Sting. When you were saying Sting, I was thinking about his other match, which was at Fall Brawl.
Yeah. It's like Fall Brawl 99. Fall Brawl 99, I think we can do. Yeah, we can do Fall Brawl 99. I'll just do that. We'll just do Bash of Beach 94 at another time. Right?
Yeah, no, we'll be doing those eventually. I was either thinking of that or Fall Brawl. But when you were saying Sting, I'm like, wait a minute, there was a good match in '99.
Between the two. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said,
This was Crow Sting, not Surfer Sting.
yep. So yeah, the next pay-per-view classic review we're gonna be doing next week is WCW Fall Brawl in 1999. And so until then, we will talk to y'all later. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. He will forever be missed, but his legacy will live forever.
He will forever be immortal then, now, and forever.
Peace.
Deuces.